Hi everyone. Okay, I'm moving on to the tiger now to get him mapped out and the line drawing down. I've got him printed out on really thin copy of paper, like I normally do for transferring over a line drawing. Just printed off a basic kind of fast copy print onto, like say, 75 GSM copy of paper. I've got another copy there of him in gloss print on photo paper. I'll use that as kind of a reference. This has come out quite well actually on the copy of paper anyway, but I'm going to use my stylus on this just to transfer the line drawing over. Now normally when I do the inky drawings, I do like a full head, so there'll be an outline. So this is the first time I'm going to be doing one where I'm going to be coming up to the edge and then almost pushing the bleed to go out. Now if I don't like the effect, I've got the option then of coming in and putting a mount on there still and just trapping the image without any bleed. So it's going to be kind of like, you know, play it by ear. We're going to see how this one goes. I'm going to try and do this one a little bit more realistic than the normal inky drawings that I do, but it's still going to be like a mix. So it's going to be possibly a little bit more realistic than the lion and the wolf and the cat, etc. But I still want to put some funky colours in there. We'll get a fur texture in there as well though, and I still want to rely on some of the bleed effects, and I loved the effect on the test video of the Inktense, showing what happens when you put a layer down and let it dry and then go in with another layer and let it bleed on top of the first layer. That would work really nicely for some of these layers. So it's kind of going to be a little bit of experiment as we go along as to how much realistic pencil work we do, how much of the bleed layers that we do as well. It's just going to be a really nice little project. What I want, normally I would transfer using a pencil that's going to dissolve and disappear when I add water, but I'm going to actually use the outliner pencil to do the line drawing, the whole of the line drawing transfer, and that way it will hold onto the lines for me when we add the Inktense. When we add the Inktense, I might not use it quite, I might just literally dot in some of these lines down here as a guide, but I'm probably going to put in most of the lines, but say I'm going to use this outliner for transferring my line drawing over this time. So same as I've done before on the transfer videos, I'm literally just going to rub this pencil, layer this pencil all over, and then we'll flip back over when we're done and we'll start to do the transfer using our stylus. Okay, so I've got this placed down on here. This is on an A4 sheet which is about 8 by 12. So my image is about 7 by 10 inch in total, and then I've placed it onto an A3 sheet which is about 12 by 16 inch, and that'll just give us a good 3 inch minimum all round to allow for the bleed if we choose to go down that route. So I'm going to place this quite central. Just going to fix this down with my magnets for now. Obviously tape yours down if you're not using the magnets, just across the top, that's all we need to do. And then I'm going to come in with my stylus and just transfer some of the lines. We don't need all of the lines because remember this is the inky version, so it's not super highly detailed like a normal drawing would be. So a normal highly detailed colour pencil piece. So I'm just doing those test lines. I'm going to flip up. As you can see there, hopefully you can see, let me zoom in. You should just see there is where I've just transferred the eye across. So I'm going to carry on all round. Just going to carry on real time for now. Just going to show you roughly. See, I'm doing it quite quick. All I'm going to do is map in with wiggly lines these stripes, because I'm going to use I think the Inktense blocks. I liked the effect of the Inktense blocks on the testing that we did, just to fill in the black space. And I've got a feeling we're going to come in with possibly our pencils and a couple of the blocks to fill in the areas. I want to minimise. When I do the inky drawings, I tend to only use 4 colours, black and white. So I want to try and still keep to that rule, possibly bring in a tiny bit more. Okay. Good thing with this obviously is you can flip up to see where you've been, or you can just rub your finger over and you can, a bit like Braille, you can see where you've been as well. Okay. So I don't want to get too bogged down in every single mark, but we do need to make sure we've got all of our stripes, our main big stripes, mapped in there. And especially around this outer edge, that is where we are really going to want it to bleed. So I'm just popping in a hint there of where those layers are going to be. That is going to bleed lovely out that way. Let me flip up and see where we're at. Right, I'm going to mark in the no, I'm not going to mark in the corners, no. Take that back. Normally I'd mark in the corners. That's just a habit. We don't want to really be marking in the corners. Okay, so that stripe is done up there. Around the eyebrow. Because what I'm probably going to do is just extend some of these markings upwards as well. I would say this kind of, you really need to loosen up when you're doing something like this and just go with the flow. Go with what your materials do for you. It's quite hard coming from just colour pencil work and loosening up like this, but it's a really good little experiment to do. We've done the little tests with our Inktense pencils and our blocks, so we've got an idea of how they're going to react on our Pastelmat. But it's going to be a case of we are going to go with the flow on this, and it's probably about as loose as you're going to go working with a form of pencil. So I'm just marking the side of the nose there, just to give us some little hints. Okay. Get that nose marked in. So we will come in after our using our Inktense and creating the bleed. We will come back in there with dry pencils to start to add some detail. How much we add, we'll just determine as we go along. If you haven't worked like this before, it can be really sort of quite scary. But it's fun too. You see things happening and you go, oh my goodness me. But you've got to embrace some things as well. So I'm just marking in some of those dots. You notice all my little lines are real just squiggles. I'm not drawing any uniform lines apart from around the eyes. I'm not marking in the whiskers. Squiggle around there. just around those shapes there. Because again, we don't want to put too much of this outliner down because it won't move. So I might lift some of it off again before we apply the Inktense. But for now, this is all I'm going to transfer. So I don't feel that I'm transferring too much. High speed line transfer. Okay, almost there. I haven't decided actually what I'm going to use for the eyes, because after recent tests we discovered that a lot of wax and oil-based pencils do dissolve when water is near them. I need to pick the ones that are least soluble to get our eyes in place. So do I do the eyes before or after the Inktense? Normally I do them before the inks. I'm undecided at the moment. Right, do I need to add anything else? That's there, that's there, there. Yes, just around here. Cool. I have a feeling we might not even be using that bleed around the edge. We'll just have to, like I say, we'll see how it goes. It is one of those things. Kind of got a vision in my mind, but I know that I'm going to have to just... Oh, I've missed that around there. I'm going to have to relax with it as well and accept what happens when we add the water. It's very much like doing watercolour as well. When you decide to just let it go loose and let your materials do their own thing, let them interact on their own. Fab. Cool. Yep, happy with that. So now the next thing we will do is come in with our Inktense blocks and pencils. I don't think I'm going to do those eyes first. I think we'll do the eyes second. I don't know, maybe we'll get the eyes in first. Maybe. I'll think about it and I'll come back to you, but that's our line drawing transferred, so I'm just going to remove this now. And we will be ready then to get started with our Inktense.